getting the facts right and alerting you to weather danger. This is KTXS News at 5.
Breaking news this afternoon, a horrible accident just north of Abilene. We have a crew at the scene. These are live pictures. We'll tell you what we know so far.
And we now know more about what police are doing to investigate Sunday's murder in North Abilene, why they are now searching for GPS coordinates.
And most of us are very warm and dry, but we are tracking some thunder showers in our northwestern areas. Our rain chances for the rest of the evening. Your forecast is coming up.
We'll start off with some breaking news. At least one person is in the hospital tonight after a major accident near Hamby. Good evening, everyone. I'm George Levesque. Thanks for getting your news with us.
We're glad to see you today. I'm Bray Blanks. Take a look here. It's a live look at the scene. This is on Highway 351 in northeast of Abilene, I should say. It happened just before 4 o'clock involving two cars. The injured person was flown to the hospital in a helicopter. It's not clear if there were any other injuries. We do have a crew on the scene, and we'll be updating you as we can with new information about what is happening.
Abilene police are hoping that GPS coordinates will help them learn more about Sunday's murder. A search warrant was granted for investigators to obtain GPS data from 39-year-old Kimberly Mansell's Chevy Camaro. According to police, Mansell confessed to calling Donald Perkins and luring him to the scene so that Michael Guti could confront him about an incident related to his daughter. Now, this is video from the crime scene on Sunday. When Perkins arrived, police say Guti rode up on a motorcycle and shot Perkins several times. Both Guti and Mansell are currently behind bars at the Taylor County Jail. An
Abilene man is out of nearly $3,000 after becoming a victim of a Craigslist scam. According to an incident report filed with the Abilene police, the 59-year-old victim was trying to buy a travel trailer. The victim wired $2,800 to the seller. That's when the seller asked for $2,500 more for shipping insurance, and that's when the victim knew it was a scam. Craigslist recommends that you only deal with people you can meet in person in a public place. Let's turn to that weather. Sunshine abounds over most of the region today, but there are some rain clouds to our north. KTXS Chief Meteorologist Mark Rowell's got a look at our forecast for us this evening. Mark, who's getting that rain?
Well, Bray, it's mainly up here toward Aspermont. These showers, thunder showers, are drifting to the south. We'll have more about our forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Mark. Raids in Turkey ended in multiple arrests in connection to the deadly attack at the Istanbul airport. We are now learning the attackers targeted the airport specifically. Marcia Gonzalez has the latest developments.
New images of the chaos at Istanbul's airport. It appears ISIS was behind the attack, though no group has claimed responsibility. Marcia Gonzalez, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, multiple airstrikes in the past 2 days destroyed more than 100 ISIS vehicles. U.S. officials say two convoys were leaving Fallujah. About 175 vehicles destroyed there. Officials estimate the vehicles may have carried as many as 250 ISIS fighters. Iraqi security forces destroyed other vehicles as well during the airstrikes.
A historic move at the Pentagon. Military officials lifted the ban on transgender people serving openly in the military. Officials say they don't want barriers unrelated to a person's qualifications to serve when recruiting. The plan now goes to each branch of the military to implement the new policies affecting medical care, housing, and uniforms. The change is effective immediately.
It's been 3 years since the mayor of Abilene revealed his big plans to enhance the downtown Abilene area with a new convention-style hotel. The city has purchased the necessary land surrounding the Abilene Civic Center to build that. And with the request for proposals being sent out in July, the mayor says the city is one step closer to making this a done deal.
Well, when we get the RFP back, we'll know who is interested in being incentivized to come and build here. Then we'll enter into negotiations with that developer, and we hope it would be we want it to be a brand name hotel.
Tonight at 6, we will ask the mayor about the numerous hotels that have sprung up around Abilene over the last few years and why the downtown hotel has taken more time.
Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer while checking out books from the new Southside Library's new location in the Mall of Abilene. The opening date was pushed back again. We spoke with Lori Grumet, the city librarian. She tells us construction will be done around the end of November. That's about 12 weeks away. After that, staff will start transferring the books and other materials into their new home, which could take several more weeks.
Hey, good news for people living around Lake Cisco or people who want to go there for the 4th of July weekend. It will be open tomorrow. The reopening comes with a no-wait condition, though, and that means that boats must move at the slowest speed possible. Swimming, paddle boats, and fishing will be allowed. The lake, as you probably remember, closed in May because of all that flooding.
The Mall of Abilene said thank you to military members today. They put on a Star-Spangled Military Appreciation Day. The Dias Honor Guard kicked off the day at noon. There were crafts for kids, military discounts for members of the military. And if you want to join in, there is still time. It ends at 6 o'clock tonight.
A great day to say thank you to the military, especially on the eve of the holiday weekend.
That's right.
So,
yeah,
which looks pretty nice.
And it's always good to be inside where it's air conditioned, I'll tell you what, because we are looking at most of us being very sunny and very warm. But you see those clouds on the right side of your screen, and we are looking at those showers that are coming down from the northwest. We'll track those and have your forecast coming up next.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mark. Still ahead, a U.S. military base on lockdown earlier today. We're going to tell you what had authorities on high alert in just a bit.
Plus, maybe you've heard the warnings not to eat raw cookie dough because of the raw eggs. Now health department experts are warning against it for a very different reason that might surprise you.
Getting the facts right and alerting you to weather danger. You're watching KTXS News at 5 with Ray Blanks, George Levesque, and Mark Rowland.
But that outflow boundary could give us a chance of those thunder showers, especially on Sunday. Slight chance for the 4th, and then we really warm up with sunshine as we get deeper into the week.
Quick shower on Sunday might cool things off just for a minute.
Yeah, don't start canceling any plans, but just be mindful there is that possibility.
Thank you very much, Mark. All right, next on the News at 5. Up next, both presidential candidates find themselves in some troubled water on the campaign trail. We're going to break down what they're facing.
Now let's take a look at a few stories up on our website. Commuters in New York were probably not pleased to have their rush hour slowed down by a naked man, plus a cat missing from a home for 2 years, found at a neighbor's house. Now the two families, they're fighting for custody. And a Jack Russell Terrier is a new world record holder. Find out how and why. KTXS.com. On the campaign trail, Democrats are on the defensive today. A meeting between former President Bill Clinton and the U.S. Attorney General is raising questions tonight. Megan Hughes explains.
Former President Bill Clinton and Attorney General Loretta Lynch.
Megan Hughes, ABC News, Washington.
Maybe you heard about this, a U.S. military base on lockdown for more than an hour after an armed gunman scare. Someone at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland saw guns and called authorities. Turned out to be an active shooter exercise, but only senior leadership was notified about the drill. The actual drill never ended up happening after the scare. All right, you know what? We know it's bad for us, but sometimes we do it anyway. We eat raw cookie dough. But tonight, there's another warning from the FDA about this. The agency is warning people to not eat it, not only because of the raw eggs, but now because of raw flour. This comes after an E. coli outbreak was linked to flour produced by General Mills. At least 38 people were infected. The FDA says you shouldn't give your kids dough to play with either. Even though they're not eating it, the bacteria can still be absorbed through their hands. This is a new one on me. I have not heard of it.
It'd be a lot easier not to eat that stuff if it didn't taste good.
I know. I was okay with the raw eggs. I was going to chance it, but now I think I'm going to have to.
No more. All right, there's more to come on the News at 5. Are you one of the millions who will be traveling to celebrate the 4th of July? We'll have everything you need to know before you hit the road.
All right, let's take a look at gas stock prices, that is, before we leave you. Big surges on Wall Street today. The Dow ended up 235, the NASDAQ up 63. We have a breaking news update about that accident we told you about at the top of our newscast. Our crew on the scene telling us now that the Justice of the Peace has arrived there. They are pulling one woman's body from one of the vehicles involved. This accident again happened just before 4, about 351 on Highway 351 near Hamby. We're going to stay on top of the developing story and bring you any updates as we learn about them from the scene. All right, now to gas prices. They are pretty much a carbon copy of what they were last week, at least around here in the big country. Our cameras catching prices mostly around $2.12, but we did see some at $2.09. Statewide, AAA is reporting gas prices sitting at the same price as last week, $2.12. And across the country, we're seeing $2.29 per gallon of unleaded. That is 3 cents down from about a week ago. And And the low gas prices are good news for those of you headed out for the holiday weekend. George is going to break down just how many of you will be hitting the road. George.
Well, as you said, AAA is expecting a record driving year because of those prices, Braid. 2.6 million Texans will be driving this 4th of July weekend. That is an increase of 1% compared to last year. Nationwide, that number is even larger, 36.2 million drivers. We caught up with several people in Brownwood to ask them why they are traveling this year and if lower gas prices played a role.
We're heading off to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Got about 8 hours left, I'd say.
I'm going to Florida, all the way to Key West. I hope he's the only one that's driving, not me.
Yes, it's a good thing because broke people need cheap gas.
Broke people need gas. All right, there may be millions on the road, but there are millions more hitting the skies this holiday weekend. Atlanta is going to be the busiest airport this weekend. They expect more than 600,000 passengers there alone. Los Angeles will be the second busiest. Chicago, you see, is third. New York City will come in at fourth. And if you are flying from Abilene to Dallas, be aware that is the fifth busiest in the country. For this weekend alone, there are more than 3.1 million seats booked because of that extra travel and increased security. After the attacks in Turkey, be prepared for longer lines, especially at 10:30 in the morning and 5:30 in the evening.
Very handy information there for all our travelers. Thanks a lot, George. All right, don't go away. These friends, they need some new homes. Can you help them out? We're going to tell you how next.
Do you have big plans to celebrate the 4th of July?
If you do, we have a suggestion on some little firecrackers that want to take part in the fun. Here's this week's Rescue the Animals.
Look at this beautiful dog, and she's just crying for you to come to the animal shelter. She's only $40 after the mail-in rebate. It's kitten time in Texas. Now, that's bad news because we've got more kittens than we can handle right now, but it's good news if you're looking for one. $40 after the mail-in rebate, you can own the first English Chihuahua. Young, beautiful, and sort of down on our luck. $30 takes this gorgeous kitten home. We don't get very many Weimaraners. They are sensational dogs. They're incredibly beautiful.
Boy, they are good dogs. You can find these pets and more in person and online at the address on your screen, or you can go visit them at the hours there at the Abilene Animal Shelter, 925 South 25th.
All right, Mark Rowlett joining us with a look at the weather and some rain now for some of our northern counties.
That's right, especially in northwestern areas. This has kind of shifted more over there to around Claremont, and it's moving to the south. There's showers around Swenson. They're kind of weakening a bit, so now the focus is more over there into Kent County. If those hold together, down into Rotan, possibly into Snyder over the next hour or so. They're only moving south at about 15 miles per hour. The majority of us will stay dry and very warm, and we're looking at a dry overnight with lows tonight down to 73.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for the news at 5. We hope you'll be right here at 6 o'clock.
We will. We'll see you then. World News with David Muir is next.